The big game is fast approaching, but wait, you still haven't got your tickets. You've spent hours searching, but you're still confused about ticket prices. Time to stop searching. Visit ticketcompare.com. We compare ticket prices for all the popular leagues and tournaments for you. We work only with the most trustworthy sites, so you can have peace of mind when buying your tickets. Compare prices, buy tickets, get to the game. Ticketcompare.com. Buying tickets made simple.
Afternoon. Okay, Rob, when you're ready.
Gareth, good to see you. Bear with us if you don't mind. 30 seconds, they're just getting out of something they were in. Do you mind waiting for this? All right. Gareth, for the first time today, we saw all 23 members of your squad training together. I know you've had that for the last couple of days. That must be very nice for you to see. But has that upped the intensity a little bit, maybe, as well?
Well, not today. We actually deliberately took a step off them today. But, whenever you're training with England, the level of training is very intense. We have to be very careful on that in terms of the physical load of the players, because they're all competing. They're all competing against each other anyway. I know there's the obvious thing that they're competing for places, but even any England camp, there's a desire when you train with different players or new players to show what you can do, and a little bit of jostling for hierarchy. So that's the nature of footballers and representative sides where you're not training together day in, day out. It has a different dynamic. And
you let all 23 of them speak to us yesterday. We got to let loose with them. That was something of a risk, wasn't it? Why did you think you wanted to do that?
I didn't see it as a risk. I think all of the players are very comfortable speaking with the media and the public. I think they're accounting for themselves really well. Why did we want to do it? Across all of the departments that are with our team, when I got the job, I said to all the heads of the department, if you had a blank canvas, what would you like to do? And Andy and the guys that run the communications side felt that they wanted a change of tack in how we interact with the media. This was one of the ideas that they were keen to implement, and of course then went to research it at the Super Bowl as well. So I think the players enjoyed it. It looked like all you guys enjoyed it, and I thought it looked really good.
On a slightly more serious note, Danny Rose has told the Evening Standard that he's asked his family not to go to Russia because he fears they may be subjected to racism. That's serious. Did you know about his feeling?
Well, I wasn't aware of the conversation he'd had with his family. Everything else that I've read, he talked to us about. We had a meeting with the players a few nights ago, so all of the other parts he discussed at length. I actually had asked him, for benefit of the other players, his experiences in Serbia, to share some of the things that had gone on. And what was very clear was that he felt let down by the authorities, and that he wasn't the only one that had experience of that, which was sad to hear. He's part of our team and part of our family for the next few months, and we intend to support our players as well as we possibly can. So very sad that, of course, none of us know what is going to happen in Russia, but sad that he feels that there's a possibility of something that he didn't want his family to experience, and might detract from his focus on football, which I know in his mind is at the forefront.
Have any of the other players expressed to you that they have concerns about it too?
They are like everybody else. They don't really know what to expect. There's obviously lots of speculation, and they have experiences from the past at home and abroad. But the conversations we've had have been that none of us know what is going to happen. They've had recent experiences, Danny Welbeck with Arsenal, that went really well. So, we're all hopeful that is the situation. But we're having the conversations because we want everybody to be prepared and for us to have an understanding of how each individual would like to be treated if that happens to them, and how we will deal with it as a team.
How will you deal with it as a team? You must have a plan in place. Has it been discussed?
Yeah, there's the personal support side and the team support side, and then there's the official protocol side, and everybody's fully aware of what both of those things look like. We're also having a couple more follow-up meetings just to discuss different areas of what we want to be as a team and how we want to support each other. I think the players are very clear where I stand on it, and the support they have from me. It's not something we want to be talking about, but it is something we should talk about, and it's something we're open about. But it's more important how we feel as a team than the external. We recognise that we can have some impact on the external. For me, the biggest impact we have is the interaction between probably one of the most diverse teams that's ever gone to a World Cup. And I think you see the images of them every day enjoying themselves together, how close they are, how they're always with different partners and larking around with each other in different groups, how comfortable they are in each other's company. For me, that was one of the privileges of being a footballer, was that I was always playing with players of different nationality, different religion, and you never thought anything about it. You're just a teammate. So hopefully that message spreads far and wide.
Can I ask you any specifics of what you will do as a team if any of the players are subjected to racism? I'm guessing you can't walk off the pitch, because that doesn't fit with the FIFA protocols.
Well,
you might get punished.
Yeah, people in a idealistic world would say you should do that, and it seems that the realities of that are you'd be thrown out of the tournament, and some people would say, well, we should do that. I don't think the players want that. In actual fact, they've worked all their lives to get to a World Cup, so the ideal is that we're able to raise the issues, confront the issues, but they want to play in the tournament, and so it's a very difficult and delicate balance for us to get right, and frankly it's impossible for me to say the things that will please everybody, but I think everybody knows how strongly I feel about the subject. I think everybody knows from the team we've picked and the way we work that we're a very tight unit, and that is about as much at this point as I can influence, I think.
Let me ask you about your last friendly before you go. Are there any specific names you can tell us that will play?
Well, the guys on the radio have asked me a couple, so I'll happily divulge that. For sure, Jack Butland plays in goal. We will make a lot of changes. At some point, Trent Alexander will get a debut. And, one of the keys for us getting through these two matches, we always had in our mind that we wanted everybody in the squad to have a significant period of game time. The particular matches in which we thought some of them would play changed because of training in the earlier part of the week, and the makeup of the two teams, the plan we had is slightly altered, but the principle of what we wanted to do is the same, and with everybody fit and available, we're able to do that. So from our point of view, really good opportunity to see some more tactical things, to see certain players in certain roles. There's definitely places up for grabs for the first game of the season, of the tournament. Also, there's opportunities, when you're looking at making changes in matches in the tournament, you want to know who's in form, who's really at the forefront of your mind. So anytime a player, whether that's club or international, has 10 minutes on the field or 90 minutes on the field, they have an opportunity to make a statement in the way that they play, and the way that they tactically embrace the game and carry out the roles that they're expected to carry out, and that's certainly the case tomorrow night.
Trent Alexander-Arnold making his England debut then, an incredible story. Would you have any qualms at all about throwing him in the first game of the World Cup?
No, that's why he's here. You know, I've not got a player in the squad who I would think twice about putting into the opening game of the World Cup. He's here on merit. He's performed exceptionally well this season. His quality's been top. He's settled in with the group really well. So really pleased to have him with us. It's a huge moment for him, of course, but well deserved.
Last one from me. You say there are still places up for grabs, but unless somebody changes your mind or injuries happen, have you got a pretty clear idea in your mind now, as things stand, what your starting 11 would be against Tunisia?
Yeah, but I think there are a couple of places that you always, as a manager, you're looking at who you believe your better players are, but then form, physical conditioning. So that always evolves. A football team is an ever-moving, living, breathing beast, and the pecking order and the way people train and the way they are within the group and their approach, everybody has to stay on their toes all the time. You know, there's no room for complacency on any day's training. There's no room for slipping of standards. So I'm not sitting telling everybody 2 weeks before the start of the game that's it, you're comfortable, you're in, because in my experience that's not a good way to get the most out of players.
Gareth, you said the players are clear on where you stand on the racism issue. Can you articulate where you do stand on that subject?
That it's completely unacceptable. I have no... one of the things we mentioned is that I think for all of the players, a lot of them have children, and I'm the same, and our kids don't think anything of who they talk to, who they sit with, how they interact with people of all race, colour, religion. They're born into this world with no prejudice at all. It's only as people force their own opinions and insights and education onto them that they might alter those opinions. So we're victims in this world of prejudices, thinking that comes from others, and it's very sad, because there's no way that people should be treated differently because of the colour of their skin or the religion that they believe in. You treat people as individuals, and you treat them respectfully at all times, and the players know my thinking. Clearly, within football, the landscape has changed enormously in the sort of 25, 30 years I've been involved in the game. It's not perfect, but huge strides have been made, so we can make some differences through football. We can't affect everything, because most problems are societal, and football ends up being a reflection of society. But the point I made to the players, and I know Danny in his quote has said, we can't change the world, but maybe we can have a small impact by the way that we conduct ourselves. The guys from all of the communities that they came from are fantastic role models for kids in terms of the way that they're able to show what's possible, and the way they interact with each other. So there is a possibility to change people's thinking and to have an impact, particularly on the communities they grew up in. But we also know there is unfortunately a limit to that impact as well.
Danny also said that he's numb to racism now, and if he experiences racism in Russia, he'll just get on with it because he doesn't have any faith in the authorities to take meaningful action. Do you sympathise and share that view?
Well, I sympathise 100%. He's had a very personal experience of that. I was aware of that. I wasn't involved in the game, but I knew what had happened, and he talked about it. That's why I asked him in front of the group, because there are some experiences within the group that I think were helpful for some of the younger players to hear, that I knew if I didn't raise wouldn't be the right thing. So again, I think the guys were all happy speaking in front of each other, it's sad that he talked about the fines and things that have happened and that seem that they're not really having any impact. But I'm back to why do we have this situation? It's lack of education, really, generally speaking. And so we have a view of what should happen because we're however many decades on of having a multiracial society. Other countries don't have that. So it's probably not realistic for us to expect everybody to be in the situation we are as a community and as a country. And as I've said before, I still don't think we are anywhere near perfect.
Another serious issue out there from a footballing point of view is likely to be VAR. Have you got any updated thoughts on that? Have you prepared specifically for it? Are you ready for it at the World Cup? Do you embrace it? And what have you said to the players about it?
Well, I don't think there's anything we can specifically prepare. We have to be conscious that anything that goes on in the game could be referred to it. So that's a state of mind and awareness. In terms of the logistics of how it will work and the detail of how it will work, we're due. Every team gets an update from the referees when we get out to Russia. So they'll be a bit more specific about that. But we've just got to, we've got to play as we normally play, but be aware that if you commit fouls and you commit things that are likely to be pulled up by the referee if he saw them, that's even more likely to be the case.
Would you have had a word with Raheem, for instance, about the simulation he was adjudged to have committed in the last friendly?
Well, I think the best we could do is try and keep Raheem out of the papers for a couple of days, really. I thought he spoke brilliantly yesterday on any number of topics. So let's broaden the debate a bit. I go back to what I just said. Anything that you do on the pitch is going to be spotted, and so we know that is the situation. That's the way we have to play.
Around these times, we always talk about boredom in the camp, and we heard a lot yesterday about what the players plan to do. Do you have any specific plans in place and activities in mind to counteract that issue we've talked about so much over the years?
I think it's sad. I think it's a nonsense. I think it's a big red herring. What was my old physio at Aston Villa used to say, son, only boring people get bored. I don't know how full the players' lives are when they're not, but generally they have to train, they go home, they recover, they're quite limited in what they're able to do. But I think we have an environment where they get on, there's energy between them, there's always something going on within the group. They're playing different games, they're out, they're chatting with each other, they're socialising, they're online, I think in the end what has been referred to in the past is a bit cultural, and I think part of that issue maybe has been in this pre-tournament phase where 1 year the team were away for a long period. English players maybe aren't so good at that as some other nationalities. I think we've broken up these camps pretty well. They've had a few days in, a couple of days away, a few days in. They get a couple of days away again after the game tomorrow. I think that's important for them. We will go away for a long period after this weekend. And we've had the opportunity to train really well at St George's in particular, which has been great for us, controlling the environment, the recovery, the quality of the pitches, the facilities, but also then time with the family. They're only a couple of hours from being able to get home, so I'm really pleased that we haven't been abroad and had a camp abroad. I think we'd have wasted time and not had control over the training environment in the way that we have. We've been able to do different things with them as a group that I think they've enjoyed, and that will continue through the World Cup. We've got to get that balance right of when we train really full on, but there's a lot of time outside of that to enjoy it. We're going there to enjoy it, and if the players enjoy it and they attack the tournament, then I think they'll play much better.
And just finally from me, if I may, similarly, we always hear talk of the pressure around England teams, and possibly one of the reasons for previous major tournament failure is the psychological state. Are you doing anything specific to work on the mental state of the players going to Russia?
Yeah, I mean, my belief as I get older is that pressure is what you perceive it to be. And very often it's influenced by what you read, what you watch, what you indoctrinate your mind with, and what is it really, you know? We're going to play football. We had some guys in from the Marines the other day who had lost limbs in different situations. Well, what's the pressure on us? You know, we're going to play for England, which every player has wanted to do. We're going to a World Cup, which is the highlight of everybody's career. We're with a group of mates for however many days we're going to be together, playing football. It's fantastic. So, yeah, of course there's scrutiny on the games, but do we want to be just involved in games where there's no scrutiny and no possibility of achieving history? For me, that's been the privilege of being with England as a player and now as a manager, that you want to be in the games that matter, and these are games that matter. These are games that have profile, importance. If that's pressure, well, yeah, okay, but we've got to balance what can we control. We control our performance, we control our training. What goes on around us can't affect us, and that has to be our focus. And I'm back to let's enjoy the experience. You saw yesterday that I think the players enjoyed that experience, was different, and that is our attempted mindset through everything, really.
Okay, any further questions? Let's go back.
Gareth, why have this game tomorrow night here in Leeds in Yorkshire?
Well, we were keen. Our experiences of the team playing around the country have been really good. Obviously, just before the last Euros, but also when Wembley was being rebuilt, some fantastic experiences. We had the opportunity to do it. We haven't always had that opportunity. And we know that a lot of the England supporters club that travel are Yorkshire based. You know, the guys that run that for us were very keen to bring the game to Yorkshire. So Elland Road's a brilliant venue for us to come and play. I think it's really important. You know, we don't just represent the south of England, we represent everybody. And to be able to bring the team north, that the fans from the north don't have so far to travel, they can, you know, some of them will be able to walk down the road and watch England play in their local stadium, is a brilliant thing.
You've got 7 Yorkshire-based players, well, Yorkshire-born players as well in the team.
Almost as many as the cricket team, yeah. It takes some doing, really.
Strong Yorkshire, strong England, they say.
Well, it's true. I mean, I've lived here for 15 years, so and every Yorkshireman I ever worked with was bloody quick to tell me what a great place it was to live and God's country and everything else. And I have to say, I love the mindset, I love the mentality. I think there's a humility about the people. I like the fact that you know, there's a lot of thriving industry. There's a need for more investment in the city here, I know. There's a big push for the rail links and things like that to get it on a par with what's going on the other side of the Pennines. Yeah, I think it's I think real people, good values, and I like that.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll end it there. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that was really good. Yeah, very